All right, welcome in everyone to our deep dive today. We're going to be talking about something that I'm sure is on everybody's mind.
Always profitable trading, eh?
That's right. I mean, who hasn't fantasized about being able to pick a winner every time, right?
Ah,
But today, we're going to try to separate a little bit of the fantasy from the reality.
yeah, it's a very powerful idea, this idea of being able to always make money trading.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So before we get into the weeds, let's just take a second and imagine, right? Let's say that there was a world where you, listener, you could make a profitable trade, a winning trade every single time.
Every single time.
What does that world look like?
Well, I think for most people, the first thing that comes to mind is freedom, right? Financial freedom to do what you want when you want. Maybe it's travel, maybe it's spending more time with your family, maybe it's finally starting that business you've always dreamed of.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right. Not being tied down by, the 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
really having that freedom to do whatever you want. And of course, the money itself, right? Like being
Right.
able to afford the things that you want, having a nice place to live. I mean, there's something really seductive about that.
It's very seductive. And there's also, I think, a certain level of influence and power that comes with that kind of wealth.
Right, right. Being able to maybe not just influence your own life, but the lives of other people as well.
Yeah.
But let's be real, right? This perfect trading scenario, it's a fantasy. It's very, very rarely, if ever, how the real world of trading works. What's the truth behind this idea?
The truth is, the market is a lot more complex and a lot less predictable than that. Thinking you can always win ignores the risks, ignores the complexities, it ignores the fact that the market is constantly changing.
It's like trying to predict the weather, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get it right, but you can't be right 100% of the time. There are just too many variables you can't control.
Exactly. There are too many variables, and honestly, there's a lot of luck involved too.
Yeah, there's a lot of luck, right place, right time, all of those things come into play. So if this always win idea is really just a myth, what are the actual keys to succeeding, to finding that profit, to finding success in the markets?
It's about understanding the market. It's about doing your research, and it's about managing your risk.
Yeah.
There's no magic formula or, get rich quick scheme.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. You
Yeah.
mentioned doing your research and understanding the market. What are some of the things that people should be looking at, paying attention to?
Well, it depends on what you're trading, of course.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you want to understand the fundamentals of the companies or assets you're investing in. You want to look at things like economic indicators,
Hmm.
what's happening in the overall economy.
Like interest rates and stuff like that.
Exactly. Interest rates, inflation, GDP growth, all those things. Because remember, the market doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's influenced by everything that's happening in the world.
Right, right. It's all connected. I mean, never really thought of it like that before.
Yeah.
So economic indicators, got it. What else?
Well, you also want to pay attention to what we call investor sentiment.
Investor sentiment. What is that?
Investor sentiment is basically the overall mood of the market. Are people feeling optimistic, bullish, or are they feeling scared, bearish?
Okay, and how do you gauge that? Do you read every single tweet?
Not quite, but there are ways to measure it. You can look at things like market volatility, the VIX index, put-call ratios. There are a lot of different tools and indicators you can use to get a sense of what the overall mood is.
So it sounds like really emotions play a big role in all of this.
A huge role, absolutely. And that's where things get tricky because a lot of times people make trading decisions based on their emotions, on their fear or greed.
Mhm. Yeah, I've been there. I've made those mistakes. I remember when I first started trading, I was so eager to make a quick buck that I ended up chasing every hot tip I heard, buying high and selling low. It was a disaster.
We've all been there. But the key is to learn from those mistakes and to develop a more disciplined approach, a trading plan.
Okay, so talk to me about that. What does this solid trading plan actually look like? How do you create one?
Well, it starts with setting clear goals. What are you trying to achieve? How much risk are you willing to take? What's your time horizon? Once you have those things figured out, you can start to develop a strategy.
It's like a roadmap, basically.
Exactly. It's your guide to navigating the market. It helps you stay focused on your goals and avoid making impulsive decisions.
I'm starting to see how all of this comes together. It's not just about picking the right stocks or timing the market perfectly. It's about having a deeper understanding of how the market works and having the discipline to stick to your plan even when things get tough.
That's a great way to put it. Trading is a journey, and it's not always going to be easy. There will be ups and downs, wins and losses.
But it sounds like the real reward comes from learning and growing as a trader.
Absolutely. And developing the skills and knowledge you need to make informed decisions, to manage your risk, and to achieve your financial goals.
So listener, as we wrap up this deep dive, remember this. The fantasy of always profitable trading is just that, a fantasy. But the reality of the markets, while complex, can be incredibly rewarding if you approach it with the right mindset, the right knowledge, and the right tools.
And one last thought for you to ponder, listener. If perfect trading is a myth, what are your realistic expectations? What are the skills and knowledge you need to navigate this complex world? It's something to think about as you continue on your trading journey.
Great advice. Well, that's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.